I also am not doing what I did last week, Fiona, because
Right?
you've got it. Because you've got it with that.
I'm so sorry. I'm
No,
so
but
sorry.
it was funny because I suddenly thought, where's that picture then from last
Oh, if you'd
week?
have mentioned, I could have dropped it over to you. I would have
No,
definitely
I've
done
just
that.
done another one, and again, it's not a pop bag. It's just a
Oh,
picture I found in a book of some flowers, so I'm quite
oh,
happy doing that.
okay. Now, how far have you got along with those two then? Because if we need to take a back step a little bit then, so you can catch up. Because at the moment, I'm looking at colouring in and doing shadow work and things like that. But we're
Yeah, I'm at that. I've done some. I've sketched it, and I've done some marking, with a knife as well.
Ooh, with a
Um,
knife. Ooh.
yeah, I get me there with a knife. I thought, what have I got this sharp? A knife. So yeah, so I've done that. So I'm ready to sort of go with the start colouring.
don't mind colouring in at this point. And Jenny, how about you? Have you sketched it out and are you all
So
right with colour or?
I've been using coloured pencils in the main, so I've got colour on mine,
Great,
quite a lot on mine.
great, fantastic. Oh, that sounds good though. That's really, really good. Okay, guys, I'm so glad to see you tonight. And I was worried there for a minute I might be sitting here on my own. So it's really nice to see you. Good, good. Okay, so what we can do is I'll just give some hints and tips for anyone who wants to look at the recording as well and think about how we can do the detailed work on it. And obviously, we're not going to get it finished all tonight, but we can make a start and learn little bits and pieces as we go along, hopefully. So one of the first things I was always told when we did loads of things like this in college when I was studying art, and we did masses of still lives and things like that. And one of the main things that we were told really was to put our objects with a light source coming from one direction, ideally from the side, not from the top. I don't know if you've heard that before, but the reason why they recommend that is so that you get these nice shadows across your piece. And it really highlights the structure of the leaves and the structure of the flowers and things like that. So if it's possible, I don't know if it's possible where you are this evening, is it possible to put your plant in a place where it's getting light from one side only? Is that possible, or is that going to be impossible? What do you...
Well, no, because I'm going from a picture. But so it's got some light on it, I suppose, the picture.
Yeah,
Let's see.
you're going for
Yeah.
photographs. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Well, the other thing we can do, obviously, when you set up your still life or your plant, if you set it up like that, with a lamp coming from one side or a window on one side, and then you take the photograph that way, again, that's an ideal way of setting up your lighting because it shows the lights and darks in a really flattering way. It's the same with portraits as well, that sort of thing. It looks really awful if you've got light coming from the top, but it always looks much better if you've got light coming either from the side or diagonally on from the side. And that really applies to more or less anything, really. The other thing you can do, I'll show you what I've done as well, because I've got a photograph, as you can see in my screen share, and it's kind of got the light from one side, but it's a bit full on. It's really from the front rather than off to the side. So it's not the best picture in the world. But one of the other things you can do, just as a tip, and I'll try and swap my camera around because I'm still not overly confident about swapping my camera around, I'll be honest with you. So let's try swap my camera around and show you what else I have done. That's me, you don't want me. Yeah, okay. So what else you could do, another really great thing to do is to do a black and white print. If you have access to a printer, is to print it out, which is what I did on my printer. And that's great because it now helps me see the tones. Does that make sense? You can really see the difference in the lights and darks. You can see the shadows in the middle of the flowers really clearly. And actually the difference between the bright flowers and the dark leaves is quite strong, much more strong than I actually thought it was looking at the photo. So that's given me a good guidance. And can you also see these dark areas on the leaves? I've got some dark shadow areas on the leaves as well as highlight areas on the leaves as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
again, these leaves here are light, very, very light. And all of this sort of thing, when you're looking at the real object or you're looking at a colour photo, I don't know about you guys, but I don't really notice it that much personally.
I know what you. Yeah.
So the thing to do, I think, is try and identify before you even start what are your real light areas, your mid-tone areas, and your dark areas. Again, that's the principle I learned in college, to split out where your highlights are, where your shadows are, and the mid-tone that's in the middle. So you have at least minimum three different tone areas. And you can even, mark it on your drawing. You can say, well, this leaf is light. This leaf is very, very light here. You can say this is a dark stripe. You can actually draw it on there. And I often do this if I've got a big drawing or complicated. I actually put D for dark and L for light so that I don't do the wrong thing in the wrong place, as it were. So you could, I mean, if you're able to do that, you could do that. And I do quite often do that, especially with also animal drawings as well. Because again, it's difficult to see with the colours of animals where the darks and lights actually are unless you really take some time to pinpoint it.
Never thought of that one.
Yeah, so it's taking your time and pinpointing these things. Another thing you can do, even with your photographs, another tip is you can actually squint at it. I know that sounds bizarre, but if for example, I hold that drawing at a bit of a distance from myself and I squint my eyes, when the act of squinting causes the mid-tone areas to drop away, and it helps you see the differences between the light and the dark more easily and more readily. So you can do that with anything. Do you want to give that a go?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the detail of it should drop away. So yeah.
Yeah.
Can you see?
Yeah. Yeah, it's quite distinct, isn't it?
Yeah, straight away I can very distinctly see these light leaves that I've got here. Yeah, they're very much sticking out to me. Straight away when I do that squinting thing. Whereas the leaves over here are much darker, much darker.
Yeah.
So I can see that more clearly now. And it works because your brain is distracted by all the different structures and all the different other shades. In real life, obviously, you have more than 3 tones to worry about. You have about 25 different tones at least. So your brain is picking up all those different tones and it's a bit of a muddle to work it out. But by squinting, it reduces those numbers of tones down that you can actually see. And again, this was a tip, again, I learned at college a lot. If we were ever doing still life and we weren't squinting, used to come around and say, you haven't seen you squinting at it, Fiona. Squint and then draw it out and then work it out. It'll be much better. So there's just some tips and tricks to figure out where your lights, where your darks, and where your mid-tone has got to go. So, yeah, if you're worried about leaving lights, I also do leave white quite a bit. I like to leave white quite a bit. So where I've got highlights on the leaves, these highlights on the leaves here, and probably quite a bit of this leaf here because it's so light, I will leave quite a bit of light white here in some spots. So the first thing I do then is identify them on my drawing and actually put a very light line around in lead and put L in there for light or W for white. so that I don't go over it by mistake.
Mm.
So that's the first thing I do. So I'm going to do that now, actually, on my drawing. I have actually started a leaf, as you can see. I've left a bit of light here on the leaf. So if you want to do that, do your squinting or whatever you need to do, and then highlight where the darks are. This is kind of mid-tone here. And then this is very dark. A lot of my leaves are actually very dark, and then very light on the other side, which is quite interesting. I'm going to leave this one white up here. And I'm going to leave a bit of white on that one. I like to leave white in the picture. I think it gives it a bit more life.
I think you always need white, don't you? Whatever you're doing, really.
Yeah. Makes it more natural, I think. And this one is actually, I'll turn that light out, it's a bit bright, you probably can see it better. Now that light on. So I've got a white area on this leaf here, and then so this leaf under here will be mid-tone. And that's the other thing you can do. You can work out if you've got a lot of leaf, you need to make sure you haven't got the same tone with two leaves next to each other, as it were. It's better if you have a different tone so you can differentiate the leaves. So for example, I've got this leaf here going over this leaf underneath. So I want white on this leaf here partially, and then the one underneath will be mid-tone, so as to differentiate between the two leaves.
Right, yeah.
Otherwise it gets a bit unstructured. If you merge your tones too much, it gets a bit unstructured. You can't tell one leaf from another leaf. It's unstructured. So I think, and then the darks, I've got a really dark one in here, which hasn't been drawn very well, so I will draw that a little bit better. So it's just working out the tones is really important. And the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw in the centers of the center shapes of my flowers. Can you see that? It's a different color, but it's also darker. So I'm going to put those shapes in as well on the flowers as well. So if you can see those on your flowers, I think you've both got flowers on your plants, haven't you?
Yeah, I've got flowers. I've got an iris.
Oh,
I'm not
nice.
sure what the other colour, what the other plant is actually.
Yeah, so I'm drawing in the centers so that I don't get those shapes wrong. This is quite a star sort of shape going on. Are they complicated shapes that you've got, or are they quite straightforward shapes?
Mine's quite complicated.
Yeah. Irises are, aren't they, actually, thinking about it?
Shall I try and show you what I'm doing?
Yeah, irises are quite tricky.
This one.
Oh, wow.
See?
Yeah.
It's in my portrait of a country garden.
Okay,
So
that's quite, yeah, that's quite complicated, isn't it? It's got a lot of different leaves. Irises they've got lots of different shaped petals and things.
I've done something out of this book before. And funny enough, it was when my Eleanor was 18. And I said, would you like one of my pictures on your, because she had put loads of pictures up on her wall. And she actually picked the flower one out of this book.
Oh,
so that was, quite nice.
nice.
Really.
Yeah, it's nice. Yeah. 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 Are you both okay? Are you both coming to class tomorrow? Are you going to be able to make it?
I hopefully will be there. As I said, as long as this, I'm just keep taking paracetamol at the moment. So yeah, so hopefully I will.
As well.
Yeah.
Sounds yes. I haven't got a hot pressed paper.
Oh, I haven't either. That was what
I can give you some. I've got some cream coloured paper, which is fairly large, which you could cut down if you didn't want to do it big. And I have also some white, which is a bit smaller, A4 kind of size. So
Good.
yeah, I have got enough, I think, for everybody, hopefully. Just
I mean, I'll bring the normal, what I've got, me normal watercolour, and then if you
Yeah.
haven't got enough.
Yeah, well, I'll do the same.
it's a bit
And
of
I haven't got, am I taking it, it's got to be a wooden board?
either a wooden or a like a chopping board, plastic chopping board.
Oh,
would
the
you say
plastic
that?
one, you have, I've got that, yeah, I didn't have well, only a really big, heavy one. I thought, I'm not carrying that on top of all my other stuff I carry.
We can go, and a tea towel, did you say, Fiona?
No, I will. Well, a tea towel, if you're, would be useful for underneath to mop up any water that goes anywhere on the table. But
Right.
I will provide you a muslin cloth for the experiment, because I'm going to call it an experiment, because I think that's what it is. It's an experiment. Yeah, I have done it. I have actually done it.
I saw your picture. It looked super.
It's all right. It's all right for a wash and wash first attempt. So yeah, it should be interesting if nothing else.
Yeah.
Print.
So let me know when you've sorted out your tones and when you're happy with which tones go where. Yeah, I've got quite a lot of white bits on mine, which I didn't even realise until I printed it out. It's interesting.
I have white pansies in this, so you can imagine.
Well, yeah, there's a mid-tone
Well-
white. Yeah. You'll need to decide what's mid-tone on the pansy, where the mid-tones are. You'll have crisp white and then a mid-tone and then a shadow. So it's about doing that. And we choose the colour, and then we can choose the colour that you can work with for that. Feels like an age ago since we actually did this, to be honest.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
Yeah,
I
it's
guess
a
it
bit
was
strange.
2 weeks, but it does seem a long time.
Yeah, it's a bit strange. Time normally goes really quick, and yet this seems like an age ago. For some reason. So I guess the next decision is as well where the tones sit around your pot. You quite clearly see mid-tones around my pot and lighter tones, so I'll put them in as well.
Hmm.
And then it's a matter of deciding whether you want to do the flowers first or the leaves first. Which do you think?
I think I'm going to start on my flowers. I've done some of the sort of, actually, I've just done a leaf saying that, which looks like a dead leaf.
Like a dead leaf.
Leaves are done.
I think I'm going to do my flower.
Lovely to see your art room, Jenny, I have to say, with the pictures around. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I thought that. I thought, oh, it's all right then.
Yeah, pictures that come in, sit and look at them sometimes.
Lovely. No, it's really lovely, beautiful. Yeah.
It's nice to be able to put them up.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah, one day I'll have a nice space all to myself to do that too. That would be good.
Mhm.
Well, I waited over 20 years to get it, Fiona.
Oh, bless you.
Yeah.
Perhaps in the next house we move to, I have put it down on the request list for the next house.
Mhm.
Okay, let me know when you're ready to start.
Yes, I'm ready.
You can go now, Ju.
Sorry, Jenny, we can,
Uh-huh. On you go, and
you sure?
yeah.
Okay. Okay, so the first thing to do then, as we did before in the previous hair drawing, is to do the lightest shades. You're going to leave some white. Don't forget that. If you're doing a flower first, just try and observe your flower quite closely and look for the white areas. And what you're going to do is then put your light color, your first light color. So light covering of color, the lightest covering of color, I should say, comes from the side of the pencil, and it's literally going on the side of the pencil and putting one layer of light color. And you're going to go across everywhere that isn't white, basically. So again, we're going to layer the colors up just like we did for the hair, starting with the lightest color first. And it goes everywhere except the white. It's only the white that we leave. And it's great because in layering, what you're doing is adding a depth of color, and the depth makes the whole thing more realistic. The depth of the layers of the color makes the whole thing more realistic. So I'm just very lightly coloring in my first flower, and I'm going to leave the very tips a little bit white, and I may actually rub out, you see that harsh outline that I've got on my flower? I might actually end up rubbing that out, but I won't do that until after I've done the leaf underneath, so I can see the contrast. So I've done it quite heavily because I needed it to show up on camera. You don't need to do it that heavily in terms of your outlines. It's quite a, I mean, I find pencil drawing quite mindful and relaxing. I don't know how you guys, are you?
Yeah, I like it. I like it quite a lot.
Yeah.
I enjoyed this. I didn't enjoy last time because I didn't like what I was doing, I have to say.
Mm.
Pansies, that they're not brilliant, and I'd be the first to admit that, but I've enjoyed doing it.
So the actual process of using the pencils is
I enjoy using the pens,
yeah.
but you have to think about the subject.
Yeah. You do have to, if you want to do a good picture, does require a bit of planning, I find.
Mm.
I'm just rubbing out some of my harsh outlines because where I've done the flower outlines for the camera, it's gone a bit heavy and not realistic really. So I'm just rubbing that out. And I'm just putting on light in the key areas where I can see the light. Now we could probably do this, you know, for a good another hour or so, I think. But we'll do a few, see how you're getting on. What colour is your iris then, Annette? Is it blue like the picture?
Like purpley,
Purpley.
lilac-y purple.
Oh, that's nice. I like flowers. I mean, I've been going around the garden taking pictures of the azaleas. We've got we're in Dorset, so we're living on chalk. So what we did is put, or what Kev did, I should say, is put in a raised box and stuck a load of ericaceous soil in it, and he's got a rhododendron and azalea border,
Hmm.
and they're all
Mm.
out. They're all out at the moment. They're really nice,
Mm.
really nice.
I haven't got much colour in mine at the moment.
What, in your garden?
I did see a rose, a few of the roses have come out.
That's nice.
Got
I
a
haven't
lot of-
done my hanging baskets or anything yet. Because the
I-
weather's been so rubbish.
Yeah. Mm.
I always forget to water hanging baskets and pots. I'm not going to do them this year.
No.
No,
You've decided as well, yeah.
on our garden, it's there's too much of it.
Yeah, we've done the same thing, Jenny. It's
Uh-huh.
it gets so hot now, doesn't it, in the summer? Even watering them once a day, they're bone dry by the end of the day.
I ever got round to watering them once a day. They were lucky to get it every other day.
Yeah,
And that if you're not prepared to give it what it needs, then there's no point.
no, they don't do well as a result, do they?
I
So
just
we're not doing hours this year, no.
We'll be back. I'm just going to see what Bill's doing. Bill, have you had all your sleep here? Can you have all your meal? I'll go and check. I forgot to put your pudding on the table.
Did your the disco at the rugby club go well?
Yeah, it was really good. We had 30 people.
Mm.
Radio Wadstock were there and doing the DJ.
Yeah, cool, huh?
We did some interviews at the end, so they took interviews from people, and they've been broadcasting the interviews all over the weekend, here, there, and everywhere. So yeah, it was really nice actually to meet Kevin from Radio Wadstock and Chris who does all the PR. It was really nice to meet them because they've been helpful and supporting all of
Yeah.
last year, you know. And I
Yeah.
hadn't met them until that time.
good.
So we
Good,
just kind
huh?
of give each other big hugs as soon as we walked in the door, and you know, well done for getting here and all this sort of thing. So that was really, really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good atmosphere. It was, yeah, always a good
I was
atmosphere.
playing petanque there on Tuesday,
All right.
and I got myself a glass of wine, and I was really shocked how dear their wine is.
Oh, really?
I did say to him, and said, "Oh, if you're a member, you get 14%." I was like, it was £9.45 for a large glass of
Well,
Pinot.
that sounds like it's pretty much a retail price, doesn't it?
Wow, I mean, I think unless you're a member, then I don't think it's like a social club prices. But I said to him, that's more than in town.
Just came in at the end there where a glass of Pinot cost you over £9.
Yeah.
£9.45. Hence why I only had one glass. It was really good though, because one of the ladies that we were playing against, it was her birthday, so they brought a great big chocolate cake. So we all got chocolate cake as well.
Gosh.
And I won my game, so that was all good.
Right.
It's a bit strange though, because I have a gin and lemonade there, and it's only £3 or £4. So to me that's a lot cheaper, because in town it'd be £7 or something, you know.
Well, Dawn had a gin and tonic. That actually it was the same in Kudos. I thinking about it. Dawn had a gin and tonic, and it was £5.90. I had a large wine, and it was £9. Again, it was about £9. But I can't drink bubbly too much, so I tend to stick to the wine. Bubbles don't like my tummy very much.
No, I'm the same. No, I can't drink bubbly now either.
No.
I've already been drinking Prosecco, and I thought, well, I better not drink gin and tonic on top of Prosecco. I might burst. But wine definitely seems to have got rather expensive.
Expensive. Maybe it is generally more expensive.
Mm.
Some things do seem to be going up in price, shortages and all that sort of thing still, isn't it?
I know. I think they just think they can get away with it now, to be honest.
let me know when you want to move on to something else.
Oh,
Even
God, I think
that.
this is probably going to take me forever. I can't quite make out which bits are what in this iris. It's very
That's the thing, you've got to look at your photo quite a bit to sort of,
quite complicated, I think.
yeah, can get complicated with leaves everywhere and petals everywhere. Mine's quite complicated. As well, what I've
Does
done,
it pay to
go on.
outline anything?
Sorry?
Does it pay to maybe go round some of the bits in darker pencil on the outside of the leaves at all, just to establish the difference of
Yeah,
each one?
yeah, that doesn't hurt.
That's what I might do.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt. You can give it a character of its own. Obviously,
Yeah, they'll always look different.
you do like to give things lots of character in it, so do go for it.
Yeah.
It's one of your lovely trademark style is to give things character, and I've tried to draw my petals larger than they really are,
Mm.
because otherwise it tends to look a bit small, I find.
Yeah, I've probably done that. Mm.
That's it round there. I took my friend in to see the exhibition on Saturday.
Oh yeah.
She actually does picture framing, and she did frame some for me
Oh,
back some time ago. She said, "Oh, I like the frames on yours," and I said, "Well, they're just from the range." And she was sort of very surprised how nice they were.
yeah.
She said, "God, that would have cost you £50 if I'd have done it."
Yeah.
So I thought, no, that's why I don't ask you anymore, because
Yeah, the ready-made ones are good value for money now, aren't they? Really, if you look
I know
around down there,
quite
there's quite a lot available. I found that as well.
I got a 16, I wanted a square frame and I thought I'd really struggle, and it needed to take a 12 by 12 picture. It's for that elephant that I told you.
Oh yes.
Elephant. And they had a 16 by 16 frame with a 12 by 12 inset, and it was, I think it was about £5. So I bought that today.
Wow, that's really good.
Elephant into it, and I would bring it along and let you see it.
Oh, that is really good value for money, isn't it? Wow.
Really? Yeah.
I should have said as well before we really started to go try and make your direction marks in the direction of the petal or of the leaf. You know, the direction that it grows in and the direction that it's formed.
Yeah.
Your marks do show, they do show a shape. Instead of just hatching away at it. Which I tend to do if I'm getting forgetful. Just hatch away at it and then wonder why it doesn't quite look right. But it's coming together. I've got some stripes up there, but they're dark, so that's fine. I can do most of that. Leave a little bit of white. I'm trying to leave a little bit of white on each petal to give it that little bit of highlight so that it looks, you know, like the light is coming in and it's shining through the petal. Especially if I've got some dark leaf behind, then it will look nice with the white. Or very, very, I might get a very pale yellow if I need to, but I'm trying to leave some white on things. Jenny, are you using a colour to do some of the tones in your flowers?
I am, yes.
What colour have you chosen?
I've just used for the white. I've put shadows in grey.
Okay, cool.
I've done quite a lot of colour actually already, Fiona. I've probably gone, yeah, I kind of raced ahead, which I shouldn't have done because I'm aware now of where I've made the balls up, basically. But
No, you might not be.
It isn't.
Fine. No, you'll be fine. Don't forget these pencils can go really, really dark if you need them to. So an interesting picture is one which has a good amount of contrast. So if you've already done your shadows in your flowers, that's fine. What you can do is make your leaves darker, and that will provide the contrast.
Yeah. Mm. I've sort of gone round the outside, certainly of the white flowers, with dark colours.
Yeah,
So it throws it up the white.
yeah.
But just, yeah.
You're not sure about it?
No, not really, but when am I ever sure of anything?
So what I would have suggested is you leave a third of the flower white, pure white, and then you choose the colour for the mid-tone. I would have perhaps suggested an actual colour rather than a grey. And then you put the mid-tone, something like very, very pale lilac, very, very pale. And you put the pale lilac and the mid-tone, as I am doing now with the pale, all over the rest of the other 2/3 of the petals. And then you do your shadows on top of that. The difference being that you're implying by the brain that the flower is white. Some of it is in partial shadow, which is the lilac, and some of it is in darker shadow, which is then your grey, which sits on top of the lilac. And that gives your brain the 3-dimensional look to it, if that makes sense. Yeah, does that make sense in terms of how that works in theory? So, but it's easy to do because you just take a slightly darker shade and just do a slightly darker shadow. When we come to do the shadow, I'm not as far as doing shadow just yet on mine. How are you getting on with yours, Annette? Have you? Is it quite a lot still to go? Is it quite a lot?
Yeah, I haven't got very far.
Well, that's the beauty about pencil drawing, is it does take time. It does make you slow down in life, which I find quite therapeutic, really. Personally, I have to slow down, and my brain, and look and think. Okay, well, most of my yellow flowers have now got a basic yellow colour on them, albeit a little bit scruffy in some places and not as perfect as I would like. But hey, we're not looking for perfection on these classes. Definitely. No, we're not. So what's the time? Yeah, we ought to move on a little bit. So shall I suggest the next stage, and maybe you can give that another go as well and see how you feel? So I've started with the very light, which is this yellow colour. I then decided on my mid-tone, which is this slightly more orange colour. And then I decided on my shadow colour. So there's my 3 tones. Okay. My shadow colour that I've chosen is actually, I'm just turning my guidance page over. My shadow colour that I've chosen is a very dark violet. I don't know if you can see that in the camera. You probably can't see that. It's a very dark. You can see it. No, I don't think you can see it. Dark violet colour. I like violet for shadows. It's a bit softer than black but it depends what you like, what colours you prefer, really. And a dark blue works well as well. So what I'm going to do now is add on my mid-tone colour. So all the areas that are middle range, roughly speaking, in my flowers, which is going to be, I don't know if you can see some shadow here round the back end of this petal, this flower here. See where it goes from white almost to shadow?
Yeah.
So that's going to have mid-tone in it because it's darker. And then all the centres of the flowers will have the mid-tone in it. And can you see the back of this flower as it goes back into the plant? Can you see that that's shadow? So I'm going to put mid-tone in there. So anything that's slightly in shadow or slightly darker than the pale colour, that's what you do with your mid-tone. Everything goes in mid-tone for that. And then the last layer is your shadow, which goes then on top of that. So basically you have 2 colours underneath your shadow colour, and that gives you your 3D effect. So I'm going to just do some of these centres of these flowers, and then I can take the lead out, because the lead outline just looks awful. Take the lead outline. And really, I suppose if you were doing a botanical type drawing, you know, perfectly realistic and real, it would take a lot longer to do. But we're not doing that, not today.
Well, I feel I am.
You are. You're looking at every little detail.
Quite botanical. That seems very detailed.
You can go down that road. And it's more or less exactly the same technique, but
Yeah.
you would need probably about another 5 tones if you're going to do botanical. So you have to work out, do you know what I mean? You have to work out your sets of pencils to take you from all those different tones. Yeah, and then really carefully place exactly where they need to go. So it is quite and usually as well with botanical, you're working with pencils most of the time, which are really sharp, because you're doing so much detail work as well. So it's a bit different. I'm putting my mid-tones on. Most of my mid-tones are central to the flower, but some of them are actually on the base part of the flower as well. So I'm going to put those in as well. So yeah. So we're going to be dancing in the town centre on Saturday in public, just to let you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know the times yet?
No, I haven't heard. I think I have heard from Kevin, but it was just before I came down here, so I haven't had a chance to do anything with it. So when I'll post up the times as soon as I go back up. Yeah. So it would be nice if some people would like to join me. Might put on.
Yeah, it depends what sort of time and sorry.
Yeah, I'll find out the time.
Yeah. I can't even think what I don't know, it would only be Petonk, which I don't have to go to, it's just practice.
No, it's entirely up to you.
Yeah.
Elton John would be good.
Nice
I even put my Elton John glasses on for the occasion. And again, I'm just going on the side of the pencil largely to try and cover quite a bit of surface, and just making that. My colours are quite rich, so that mid-tone goes all the way up to almost the edge of the petal actually, so I'm going to keep that coming. Yeah. So the idea is that your mid-tone just picks out those areas of shadow or differentiation in colour, but you leave some of the basic pale colour showing. So you're starting to get a 3-dimensional look with the different layers, one on top of the other.
And we're still going with the side of the pencil, are we?
I'm doing it with the side, yes, because I've got quite a lot of ground to cover and I don't want to make it too rich or too dark too soon. The beauty about pencils is you can put on 6 or 7 layers. So it's wiser to be light-handed and just do a little and then step back and have a look. And then if you think it needs more, go back and do another layer or do a heavier layer. Once you've done really heavy layers, as in pencil upright and pressing quite hard and getting a lot of pigment on, once you've done that, it's sometimes quite difficult to do any more, and you certainly can't reverse it. So it's better to be light and take your time and go back if it needs more. It's good to actually do a little bit and then go and leave it for a couple of days and come back and have another look. I find you always look at it a bit differently when you've given it a couple of days rest.
Mm.
Like everything that you're painting, drawing, isn't it? When you go away from it and come back, then you realise all the things that you can do.
I think so. And also I do think as well, you go back and, I mean, I get things out of the drawer that I did in class sort of a year ago, which I thought at the time was a pile of rubbish and it was going in the bin. And I get it out now and I think, oh, not so bad. I could do a bit of pencil on top of that, or I could, you know, put a bit of gouache there, or it might be
Yeah. Move on it.
Not as bad as I thought. I hope you get that experience too from time to time.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, good. So it's using 3 distinct tones plus white to create 3-dimensional shapes and impressions. I'm starting to get that now, I think. That's working out quite well. I'm quite pleased with how that's going so far. I don't know if you can see on the camera what.
Yeah, I can see your different tones, definitely. Yeah.
Gives you the shape, doesn't it, of the flower quite nicely, I think. Does anybody want to go and get a cup of tea or anything, or are you okay?
I'm not too worried. I'm going to have my dinner after this. I haven't eaten yet.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, no, that's the trouble for me. It's like...
Too much rushing.
I'd be rushing off to the loo if I had had my dinner. I had a bit of cake with my friend this afternoon to keep me going.
Would it be better to do these sorts of things later in the evening? I did suggest that to
I don't know.
people that came. I'm glad I'm doing this evening. I wasn't feeling very inspired this afternoon. I think because I went to the dentist, you know, and as we all know, as we get older, the maintenance of the body is much
tell me.
more of a challenge, right?
Definitely.
And
So did you have trouble with your teeth, or?
Well, I'm having a bit of trouble, but that's a legacy from because I've got gum disease because of autoimmune issues. And then COVID, you know, when we couldn't even get to the dentist for 2.5 years, really. That's a legacy from all of that. And then I thought I'd been doing really well. And gosh, we pay enough for it. I pay £37 a month subscription to the dentist. I've been trying really, really hard. And then she said, no, if you want to keep your teeth in your mouth and not have any of them come out, you're going to need to do better. So
what is she telling you to do, as a matter of interest? Because I worked at a dentist. Do you do incidental brushes and all that?
Yeah, I scrub out. I've got an electronic toothbrush, you know, overnight, and I scrub out with interdentals every night. I mean, I'm in the bathroom 15 minutes every night doing it.
I am.
I'm really, really thorough. I think I'm really thorough. But because I've got gum disease.
But you can. I had gum disease when I went to Victoria. after being with a dentist and going regularly and not being told, I went to her and she said, "You've got gum disease," which was a bit of a shock. And you can get it back.
Yeah, you can.
You do all your procedure as well.
Yeah, you can get it. I know you can get it back, but
sort of thing is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I basically got to do my nighttime. I've been doing my nighttime routine after breakfast, but only 50% of the time. You know, when you have a busy day and we work all the time, we've got dogs and everything, you just don't. And when you're out and about, you just don't have your kit with you. And so 50% of the time, and basically, unless I do it, the other 50% of the time, I am not going to hold it back.
I don't spend that. I mean, I've been going privately to the hygienist for probably about 20 years now, and it costs me an arm and a leg, but I haven't hung on to all my teeth, unfortunately, but I still have far more than I ever expected to.
Oh, bless.
My routine, and they're always pretty pleased with the way my teeth are. It doesn't take me that length of time. I have little interspatial brushes.
Yeah.
I've longer ones as well, and mouthwash, toothpaste, and what have you. But my gums do bleed a lot, or they did. My cheeks also. I had sort of what they call it, burning mouth syndrome, years and years ago.
Oh, wow.
Where my it was on fire. I couldn't drink without holding a handkerchief under my mouth because I dribbled. Oh. It was awful. I just dribbled. I couldn't help it. And I put up with that for years.
Oh, wow.
That's itself. No one could tell me what was wrong. And they couldn't do anything to help me except clean. And that I've had to do, just clean my teeth and make sure I keep the gums clean and get right in. And
I have to get right in.
Yeah. In my gums did so much. When you see x-rays of my teeth, it's absolutely horrendous.
Dear.
It came from my father. He had
me too. I inherited it from my dad. He lost all his teeth at age 40. So
it's fine. My dad had terrible stomach upsets and they blamed teeth and they took them all out. And that's what is wrong with me. I got that from dad. Yeah. But
do you make sure you go, because a lot of people don't, what I call clean their gums. But you really got to go and do your gums as well.
You scrub them, basically.
But not, but that's what I had done, and I've given myself gum recession because I've scrubbed them too hard when I was a kid. You know, you were told, weren't you? Scrub your teeth. So not that hard, but you do need to brush your gums as well. Yeah, I've got this little, what I call not one that you push through, but you massage the gums, and I swear that's the one that keeps mine under control.
What's that then? Massaging?
It's a single tufted. It's called a little single tufted one.
Oh, I know it. Yeah. I know it. I've got them. Yeah.
Also, an article. It was about periodontal disease and what have you. If you take your toothbrush and push it against your top teeth and then push it up, it's going right up into the gum,
into the space between.
Down, and it does. I do that now every morning and night, and I found that makes a difference as well. How it all feels. You feel as though you're getting into the gum by doing that.
That's it. Getting under the gum line, isn't it?
Yeah. I was wicked with my kids. I made sure they cleaned their teeth, and I used to take them to the dentist with me so that they could see what I was going through. And if you don't watch it, and they seem to be all right. Thank God.
It's a strange thing that some people, I mean, like Kev doesn't do any of this.
No, they get away with
it. But he never seems to have any problems. You know, different people have different reactions, don't they, to things? And
I think my mouth is bad. My hygienist says you should see some of the mouths that I have seen. She said yours is not bad at all. And I think help people.
Yeah, they said I wasn't bad. They said it wasn't bad at all, and that I was maintaining. But I've still disappointed that I've got 2 or 3 pockets that I'm not getting into, and I've got to try harder. Well, I'm going to scale it all back, and I have to have injections for them to scale because
Yeah, I used to have that when I first got told. Yeah, so they numb it, don't they?
yeah, I'm
You
going to have
give
to
it
have
heat.
yeah, because I'm
Yeah.
too receded.
So what numbers are they saying when they're saying your gums?
One of
when
them's
they do it?
6.
Well, that is quite bad. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
not
quite bad.
but annoy. Yeah, I was going to say because it's 4 and under isn't so bad, but
Most of it's 3, 2, and 1, no problem. But to hear 6, I was like,
yeah,
really? But
yeah.
as she pronged it, I thought, oh, that's not right there. I haven't got that one. You can tell, can't you?
Yeah.
You know, it's like, oh, I'm so disappointed, you know.
Oh, no.
Maintenance, you know, and I've got to go for a hearing test, and I haven't been for 2 years, and they're telling me off about that. And I had to do an eye test the other day, and really I should have new glasses now. I just walked out with a prescription and said, not today. I thought, I thought, God, this maintenance is just taking all my time and money.
Mhm. Yeah.
I suppose that's the nature of the beast, isn't it, really?
I'm quite lucky with the dentist that I'm still NHS. I don't touch wood. I've not had to have anything done, as in just a checkup. But I always see the hygienist regularly.
That's good.
Well, not long after I came to Salisbury, I had a lovely dentist in Endless Street, and he eventually said to me, we can't cope with your teeth, and he recommended where I would have to go privately, and I've been there ever since. And then one time he said to me, would you give our hygienist a try just to see how she gets on with your mouth? So I said yes, and we booked a 20-minute appointment. And she couldn't understand how anyone who went private had to have a 45-minute appointment. This was ridiculous. Well, she had to give me a double appointment.
Yeah.
My mouth. And she was a butcher. There was no way I would ever have.
Oh, no.
Awful.
Really? Oh, no. See, I've had that experience a couple of times as well. The last hygienist I went to was, it was like she was telling me off for my condition, and she was brutal with what she was doing. I felt she was brutal anyway, and I didn't go back there. I just went somewhere else. So lovely lady today, so hopefully she'll sort me out.
And it's quite a personal thing, somebody fiddling in your mouth, isn't it?
Very much so.
Hygienist, she's so gentle, and she gives me, and she's worth every penny.
Yeah, I like the one I go to.
Yeah. Well, I've only just met my one today, because the last one I went to I wasn't happy about. The one before that I wasn't happy about, and I've just met a new one today, and she was really, really nice and really gentle. And I said to her, you won't be able to scale this place and that place because of the pain, leave that alone, because I need to have injections for that. So she was very, very, very nice about it.
It was that?
I go to the dentist next to Wagamama's.
All right. Oh, is that up? That it's got pillars on the door.
Yeah. It's upstairs. Right. The actual dentist is upstairs.
Right.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, she's very nice. Next time I go and see her, I will say to her, look, please don't move out of Salisbury. It's taken me like about 10 years to find you.
Well, I thought Kingsworthy for my hygienist. It's quite a trek, but I just like her so much that I
don't change. My advice is don't change. I've been through quite a few, and it's just awful experience when you don't feel good about it. You don't feel good about it before you go in there, let alone have them criticize you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I go to the dentist, Coombe Dentist on Coombe Road.
All right, yeah.
Who do you see there? Who do you see there?
I see Julian.
Ah, now he used to be my dentist
Oh,
at
small
Amesbury,
world.
and then he left. Yeah.
Uh, I don't know where he comes from, but I said to Gary, to me, he seems like an Essex boy. He's very nice.
Weird. He doesn't look at you when he talks to you, does he?
Oh no, Julian's not too bad.
I thought he was. He's all right. I'm just sort of. I just thought fact he had a little bit of a weird. He was talking to you.
Bit shy.
Yeah.
The girl I had before him, Georgina, she was absolutely lovely. I was so sorry when she left. I think her husband moved and she obviously had to move with him, but that was such a shame. She was really lovely.
Yeah.
You win some, you lose some.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I've done some on my mid-tones now. I think it's okay, but I'll probably make a few corrections when I step back from it next week and have another look. I might go into some of these mid-tones and make them a bit darker now, because I can see the shadows in the photograph. The shadows in the middle of the flowers are quite dark, actually, in comparison. I don't know how you feel your shadows are.
Trouble with me is I missed thingies on mine. What was a bit of the stem and what was the flower?
Ah,
White, and no, it's not.
I'm just looking at that again, and I might do a little bit more pigment in the middle of these, because what I want to do is put the shadow color on there, but I want enough color in there to shine through the shadow color, if that makes sense. So when I go hard, when I do more, I lift my hand up so that I'm more on the point of the pencil, and that makes it easier to get more pigment on the page. And you'll find, Jenny, with these pencils, you can get an awful lot of pigment on the page if you really want to. If you wanted to press really hard on the point of the pencil, it will give you an awful lot of colour, rich colour. There's a lot of, you get a lot of variation. I'm going to try and do a little bit more darker pigment for that, just to get that contrast up a bit. Yeah, I was a bit miserable this afternoon, a bit despondent, so.
Yeah.
Oh, I met one of my friends that always makes me up, if you know what I mean. We always bounce off each other very well, and you come home feeling much better.
That's good.
Yeah, well, daughter on a Monday and we kind of bounce off each other quite well, so it's not been a bad day, but all the weather's been miserable.
And I even bought myself a new suitcase.
Oh.
Well, I wanted to get one of those with 4 wheels. I only had a 2-wheel one, and I found one in HomeSense.
Oh, you're going abroad very soon then, are you?
Well, I'm going in July.
Yeah.
I've just had a mess. I was going away in June, and we were planning to try and go to Liverpool, but with all the train strikes, I just said to them, you know, I just don't know how we're going to do this. We book something, and then
Stressful, isn't it?
Quite a bit more money if you did it that you could cancel. So I said, well, should we just do a Warner? And then because, I don't know, it's one of them, she's had time off with a bad back and she's the only one that works. And she said, well, can we change it to the weekend instead of through the week so I don't have to take time? So my friend Dawn and I, that was perfectly fine. But my sister was busy. Person that always says she's got nothing on. So I then tried to change it to another weekend. And my sister was busy again. So I got to the point where I thought, I don't know what to do now. I don't know how to magic this with everyone. So of course now my friend has backed out and said, don't worry about me, I won't come.
Oh,
that's now left 3 of us.
A shame.
So
Then you feel bad about it, don't you?
No, I just don't know. I don't know. I've sort of lost the plot on it now.
It's like herding cats.
Yeah, I know. Well, you know, you're like me. We're always the organisers, aren't we? And
Yeah,
sometimes you just want somebody else to do it.
yeah. It's hard to please all the people all the time.
Definitely. That bit there.
Right, a bit better now.
Didn't realise that's a pastel.
Okay, I think I'm going to put the shadow on a little bit. Start the shadow. What's the time? Oh gosh, it's 7:10 already. Time flies when I'm in your delightful company. It's lovely, isn't it? So my shadow colour is quite dark. So I'm going to start off quite lightly with it again on the side of the pencil. And again, I'm looking at everything that is actually in shadow, and I'm going over the 2 layers that we've just put on. So you're basically putting a 3rd layer on. And that's really important because although you're putting a dark colour on, the underneath layers do make a difference. They do shine through. So your brain knows that you've got the colour of the flower underneath and then a shadow on top. Your brain picks that up really, really well. And with shadows, particularly on plants, it's a really good idea to try and see where your shadow is soft edged and where it's hard edged. Most of the time on plants, most of your shadows are soft edged shadows. So that means just going lighter and lighter and lighter at the edges so that it's not a sharp line, a hard line. That's the key thing with that. So I'm doing that on this particular one here. And it looks a bit odd when you first put your first shadow on. But as you do the others around it, it then starts to look really good and really appropriate. So, and the trick to it is start light, start on the side of your pencil like I'm doing. Just do a little, and keep observing where that shadow's going. Don't do it too dark too soon. You can always go back and add more. Very difficult to take it away. Right. We're not going to get to the leaves today, but everything that we've done in terms of the leaves is exactly the same. So a light covering of very pale green, then a mid-tone green, and then your shadow on top will do exactly the same effect on the leaves as I've done on this one here, as you can see on that one there, hopefully. And gradually, it does take time. That's what I like about pencil drawing. It's something you can come back to and fiddle with and tweak. You know, people say, oh, I've overworked that, but with pencil drawing, you kind of almost, you need to overwork it in a way. It's kind of very nice and rewarding to overwork it because it just gets better and better, I feel.
I'm not sure about that, Fiona, right now.
Oh, I think so. How's it going? What do you like about it and what do you not like about it?
That I yeah, not sure about the results, but
Let's have a look, Jenny.
Well, I think I have a problem with cameras, don't I? That you can't.
I think I can see that.
You
Hold it a bit higher.
Yeah, tilt it
Higher.
towards us a bit more.
Oh, now you've
Oh,
gone.
it looks amazing. Oh, it looks really nice from here.
I've lost you.
Right. Oh,
I think it looks nice from here, Jenny. I can see wonderful orange pansy, yellow pansy.
this pansy I'm very happy with. The rest of it,
Oh,
green
that
bits
looks
and
lovely.
It looks
so
nice.
yeah, I've enjoyed it. Let's put it that way. I have enjoyed doing it. Don't know why, but I have. That yes, I should have thought about. I mean, often I do shadows with lilacs and purples and violets and such like. Don't know why I didn't with this. Yeah, but I'll remember for the next time.
You can always add a lilac to your shadow.
Yeah, well, I have been doing that a little bit. So
You could add a lilac into your shadow. And don't forget, we have not done blending yet on this. So if you want to merge your colours a bit more or soften them a bit more, if you're not happy about your shadow, you can blend the shadow and then put another colour on top. Quite often I find if my shadow's a bit dark and heavy, if I blend it and then put white on top of it, it softens the shadow out and it looks really natural then.
oh,
Yeah, blending and then, or even put white on and then blend, or
right.
even put white on, blend, and put white on again. Really softens and mellows that shadow out so that it becomes a really soft, mellow shadow and it looks really realistic.
Oh, well, I'll get that on
Yeah.
some. That would be a good idea.
If you want to bring it in tomorrow, maybe I can suggest anything else, or
Okay, I could do that.
if we get time around our watercolor experiment.
Well, yes.
Mm. Right, let's start on this one.
So I can see now from the contrast between the shadow and the actual flower that I probably haven't got enough yellow on in the beginning. So I can see that I need to put more yellow in some of these places. But on the whole, we're getting the right tones in the right places. That's the main thing. As I say, you can always go back and add more colour, add more shadow. The shadows are really important because they give the shape, if you like, of the actual flowers and the leaves. It gives it the shape.
Yeah.
So it's really important to put shadows in, and where they are dark, you know, make them dark, because the contrast, again, it makes the picture very lively. So it needs quite a bit more work, but that's the beauty of it. I can come back to it. Half an hour here, half an hour there, longer if you have the time, and just do a little bit of mindful drawing to distract you from
Everyday life.
everyday challenges like going to the dentist.
Mm.
It's really nice. I saw an online drawing of a pencil drawing of some grapes recently, and they look really great. I thought I might do fruit next time. A bowl of fruit. I thought that might be a really good one. And we could try and do it a little bit more, even more technical and a bit more botanical. But it takes a certain mindset. Is that something that would appeal to you, do you think? Or would it be too, for botanical, you really do have to have an analytical, observational kind of mindset and quite a bit of patience, I would say. It does take a bit of time. Is that something that appeals, or is it a bit too fiddly and detailed? What do you think?
I probably quite like it because I do like the detail.
Mm,
Yeah,
I like the one that Rose has done in the exhibition. And
yeah.
it made me think, oh, I want to buy one of those pencils, and have a go, sort of thing. So yeah, I wouldn't mind.
And she did then in the exhibition.
Did the one with just the ink, didn't she?
Oh, that botanical, yeah.
Yeah.
A line drawing that would be, yeah.
Mm.
And Jenny, what do you think? Is it a bit too fiddly and too detailed for you, do you think, or?
no, I mean, I quite like detail, I get bogged down in detail half the time. Problem. So I yeah, I wouldn't mind having a go. You mentioned grapes there. I wouldn't mind doing something like that.
Bit of fruit as well, type of still life.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I'll go and have a look at that and practice that and set that up for next time. We're nearly out of time, I think. Oh no, it's 20 past. 20 past. We've got 10 minutes. We've got 10 minutes. That's good. And I can see as I'm looking at my tonal printout that the middle of my flowers is actually pretty shadowy in there. Not light at all. I'm going to go a little bit darker.
I'm actually changing the colour of one of my flowers, the other flower I was doing, because it's just sort of very similar colour, so I'm making it more pink, so I'm putting my stamp on it.
Yeah, why not? Use your style, definitely. Yeah, when I get to the end of this, I like things to look a bit scruffy. So I will go over it with a pencil and hatch a few things, do some scruffy hatching marks so that it doesn't look too pristine. I don't like things looking too pristine. Yeah, use your artistic license, definitely. Anyone been contacted to sell a picture yet from the exhibition?
No.
Well, you never know. You never know.
True. There would be nobody more surprised than me, though, if it was me. I don't know if there was they left out any, that we've said do the voting. I don't know if they, not that I looked for that. I can't say whether I saw any of those there, or whether they've been moved.
What, the cards you mean?
Yeah, for sort of voting for the top 3.
When did you go?
That was Saturday.
Okay, well, I went in there on Thursday and I picked up a load of cards from the box.
Oh, okay. Oh, maybe it was there, and I just was. We were sort of a bit against the clock because you'd left her mum, so I'm like just not seen it.
I'll go in if I get
Didn't
told.
get her to vote. I didn't get her to vote.
Oh yeah, you should have got her to vote. Yeah, there were at least 70 cards left on the table to be filled in. They were there.
Yeah.
I
Well, I'll
hope-
call him again whenever I'm in town. I'll have another look.
yeah. Well, I'll try and get there tomorrow if I can, on my way. If I can. I should be able to.
I was stupid this afternoon. I should have taken Kerry in. I forgot all about that.
There we go. There we go.
Oh dear, the throat was getting sore.
You've got a bug, haven't you?
I don't know what I've got really.
Well,
Oh.
Kev's just got over this 100-day cough thing that he had, and I know Karen's been unwell with it as well, hasn't she?
No, she's not been well, has she?
No, it does seem to be going around the town a bit. I hope you're going to be all right for tomorrow.
At one point in the theatre, you know, when you get that dry
Yeah.
in your throat, you know, I'm going to cough and I'm going to cough. Oh God, I got in the right thing. My eyes were running. I was like, oh, got in the right panic. I managed to get over it.
What did you go to see?
Oh gosh, what was it called? Anyway, it was about a amateur operatic society, and this new guy joins.
A Chorus of Disapproval.
Yeah, that one. That's it. Yeah. Have you seen it?
Seen it. I went on Thursday.
What did
Yeah.
you think?
I thought it was very well acted. I enjoyed the singing, but I'm not 100% sure just what it was all about. And the ending took me by total and utter surprise. And one or two other people said exactly the same, so I didn't feel too thick.
Well, I can't even think what the ending was now.
Well, it was the Beggar's Opera, and he was there with all these women with babies.
Oh yeah, that was right.
And
Because he joined because he was lost his wife and sort of lonely, wasn't he? But they all wanted something from him. That's how I saw it. They were all like trying to take him, you know, they were all throwing themselves at him and getting him to do the bigger part and everything. So I sort of felt it wasn't really him. He just got himself in a position where suddenly it was all a bit too much.
Right, okay.
I think it was 40 minutes too long.
It was just a little bit.
Yeah.
I was starting to get a wee bit restless towards the end because the
Oh,
seat,
yeah.
sort of 2 or 3 hours, are not that comfortable.
Yeah, that's exactly how we felt. We went, that was too long.
Yeah, I heard someone say that it was what was it, 2.5 hours or something?
2 hours, 40 minutes.
I thought, oh, really? So
Long time to sit down, isn't it?
is
But I get leg ache sometimes. If I'm not finding it too interesting, my legs start to get restless and I'm like, oh, can't wait for it to finish then. I did enjoy it, but I just felt it was just too, and it was a Saturday matinee, and there was a lot of empty seats, and that really bugs me because I think we charge too much.
It's good because it was busy, and that makes a difference. I think if it's busy.
Yes, yeah.
Well, I think I've come to the end of what I can do in one evening anyway. But we've done, hopefully the camera will just pick up a bit better. Hopefully if I put it there.
Yeah.
So I've done 3 tones plus white. I can see I need a bit more yellow on the flowers, but it is kind of getting there.
Yeah.
I've also done the leaf, so you can see the start of the leaf, and hopefully you can see the shadow in the middle of the leaf and the structure. It's got a groove on the leaf.
Yeah.
Mm.
So that's
Yeah.
2 tones of green, a light green and a dark green, and then plus the shadow tone as well. So hopefully, all my other tones, the good thing about it is I've made a remark of whether it's medium, whether it's white, whether it's dark, so I can now start to fill in the rest of the leaves as well. And then finish the flowers off. They've got stamens in them and they've got stripes in them, but I'll come back and do that right at the end, I think. And they need a bit more of an intense yellow, I think, as well. So I'll do that. How have you got on with yours? How do you feel?
Mm. I'm not sure, really. I'll bring it tomorrow and let you have a look.
Okay. Do you like it or work in
Yeah, I'm
progress?
probably just trying to do it too detailed again, maybe not getting the actual colour thing quite right. Don't know. I enjoyed it.
Good.
Quite like the whole colour pencil thing myself.
Yeah, good. How are you finding it,
Thank
Jenny,
you.
and your pencils? What do you think?
I've enjoyed using the pencils. As I say, I'm not sure about the results at all. I'll bring it in tomorrow and let you see it and take it from there.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Able to suggest something I can do with bits I don't like.
Okay, Paul. No problem at all. It's always work in progress, and if you sleep on it, it tends to look better in the morning generally. That's what I'm going to say there. And so hopefully that will be the case. So yeah, well, I'm glad you've enjoyed it. Keep going, don't give up. I'll see you guys tomorrow anyway, and we can chat about it.
Look forward to it.
Okay.
Take care. Have a good night.
Thanks very much.
Thank you. Thanks for your company. See you soon.
soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Mm.